All right. So I actually owe you guys some book reviews, so we're going to go ahead and knock all of these out real quick. I don't have that many to do because this year I have not done as much reading as I planned. Well, I'm not going to say plan to because I really didn't plan to read that much. I think I mentioned that in another video. But last year I had this personal goal to read 24 books, and I did it. And I do have a video for that, so you can just click the link below. I'll post it, whatever. But this year I didn't have that goal because I plan on doing a lot of work this year and not much reading. I just don't have time. But I do have a book club going on, which is Brown Girls Who Read. If you want to join that, it's completely free. There's a link down below for that too. And I'm just going to review the books that we read so far because that's really all that I have completed reading. Now, I do have some other books that I am reading. But yeah, I just don't... I haven't finished them. I can't even talk. What's going on with me? I haven't finished them. So I'm not going to talk about those. But hopefully I'll finish them by the time I do my end of the quarter, the first quarter roundup, which will include all the books that I have read in the first quarter. So you'll see these again, but it'll be more of the other personal books that I read. Like I want to elaborate on the ones that I talk about individually here. So for today's book review, the first book, well, this is not the first book I read, but the first book that I'm going to review is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. So I heard so much about this book. Actually, I didn't hear a lot. I saw this book so much, and I read and did my own little, research. Not that it was much to do. And I was like, this would be really good for us to read in the book club. So I think the girls were excited about it because it's that good. But yeah, this is one of the first ones. So I don't know. I'm trying to see I don't know how people do this. So if you haven't read the book, there may be a spoiler in here. But if you've read it, then you already know what's up. I need to go back and research how people do reviews because I don't know if I'm supposed to not tell y'all certain stuff. I don't know. But anyways, spoiler alert. Let's see. The book is about 16-year-old Star Carter who moves between two worlds, the poor black neighborhood where she lives and the fancy suburban prep school she attends. The uneasy balance between these worlds is shattered when Star witnesses the fatal shooting of her childhood best friend Khalil at the hands of a police officer. Khalil was unarmed. Sounds familiar. Anyway, soon after Khalil's death is a national headline. Some are calling him a thug, maybe even a drug dealer and a gangbanger. Star's best friend at school suggests he may have had it coming. When it becomes clear the police have a little interest in investigating the incident, protesters take to the streets and Star's neighborhood becomes a war zone. What everyone wants to know is what really went down that night, and the only person alive who can answer that is Star. But what Star does or does not say could destroy her community. It could also endanger her life. Angie Thomas's searing debut about an ordinary girl in extraordinary circumstances addresses issues of racism and police violence with intelligence, heart, and unflinching honesty. So that's what it's about. So here's my take on it. I think it was a great book. If I were to do the whole star system, I would give it 5 stars because it's really good. It is considered a YA novel, which is young adult for those who are not familiar. And yeah, there was a lot of, what can I say, back and forth about this book being in the schools and stuff like that. And I don't know who it was, but I know that it was removed out of certain schools. And I'm not surprised because we just don't want our kids to know the truth. Well, no, not we. They don't want their kids to know the truth. Or I'm saying it wrong. They don't want our kids to know the truth. There we go. So that's why it's so important to teach your kids, not let the schools just teach your kids. And if you are a part of the traditional education system, hey, do your work at home so your kids can know what's up. We cannot claim victim in situations that we can help to prevent or be proactive in or whatever. But that's a whole nother rant. This book, Star's character was developed very well. All of the characters developed very well. What I loved about it, or I guess I don't think she told the setting, or at least I don't remember what the setting was for the book. I can't remember where the book actually took place. But I do know that this author is from the South. I want to say she's from Mississippi, but I cannot remember. And I didn't make like copious notes when I was planning to do this review, so forgive me. But I do know she's from the South. And that right there helped me to be able to connect to this book, because if you don't know, I am from Houston, and that is the South, Texas to be exact. So this book was very relatable for me and for some of the girls in the club, because we meet here in Houston. So the Houston members I'm very, very connected with. But yeah, we were able to really connect to Star and her family and all of that. Now, what I found funny was that Star had this, you know, she comes from the hood, and she, you know, like the hood. And there's always stuff going on, but she goes to this prep school. And in the prep school, well, because of where she is, I guess you could say, she ends up in a relationship with a white boy. So I found that very interesting, and I didn't expect that. And I love black men, I'll just say that. So it was very shocking to see that she was in that interracial relationship. So that was an interesting little twist. I don't know if I should say everything. I'm not going to say everything. But the situation with Khalil was very, very relevant, right? We see this still to this day. We see it a lot right now. This year, I think, is the first, well, the year just started. But I'll just say lately, like the end of last year, beginning of now, like beginning of this year, we're starting to see, we don't see as much. Now, I'm not going to say it's not happening, because I'm no fool. But we don't see as much. Like, it seemed like for like 2 years straight, there were a lot of like police killings and stuff that just went viral, basically. And this year, thank God, we haven't seen so much of it. Again, I know that doesn't mean it's not happening. But this particular case hit home, because many times in the black community, in people in the community of people of color, but I can specifically speak for black people, we are often labeled even when we don't do stuff, and we're gunned down even when we don't do stuff. And this doesn't just go for black males, this is also black females. So this book was very on point and very relevant. Now, the way that the case ended up, it really, you know, I was not expecting it to end up like that. Like, it was not, yeah, it just didn't happen the way that I thought it would happen. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But if you haven't read the book, I think that you should. I think the thing that I disliked about the book probably the most, if I had to pick something, was her how can I put it? The way that she related to the 90s. So if I'm a 90s baby, or I grew up in the 90s era, and the kids today don't know anything about the stuff that she's talking about. So if this is considered a YA novel, I feel like, in my opinion, that it should cater to the YA audience, right? So they are more in tune with the nay and all that kind of stuff. You know, they don't know anything about NWA. They don't know about it was a lot of references that she made in there. Like she said, Cash Money Records taking over for the 99 and 2000. Y'all know what that means, but these kids would never know. So I found that very, very funny but odd. You know what I'm saying? Like, I connected, but I'm not a young adult, technically. Not what the industry, the literary industry means by young adult. So, you know, that part I didn't understand the connection. I feel like I saw maybe that was her being in the character. Like, maybe she was into, like, the character. Even on the cover, this is not a spoiler. The cover, you see, this is obviously Star. And she has on Jordans. I don't know if y'all can see that, but she has on Jordans. And in the book, she referenced tennis shoes like a lot. You could tell that she loves kicks. She talked about, you know, cleaning them for people in the neighborhoods and stuff like that. That was her thing. And her boyfriend wore J's and stuff too. He really loved black culture. But anyway, yeah. And I shouldn't say that the tennis shoes are black culture, because I don't need y'all jumping down my throat. But when you read the book, you'll see what I mean. Like, he did love black culture. But the J's and stuff, maybe that was infatuation that she has that she decided to give to the character. And again, maybe the 90s era is an infatuation that she has that she decided to give to the character. But today's young adults just can't relate, in my opinion. So I felt like she could have made it more up to date for today's young adults. Or for her readers, I guess you should say, for the people that were really meant to read this book. But, you know, I mean, it's about without, no one cares. I'm probably the only person that cares. If y'all noticed that, tell me. Like, did y'all see that too? I think, what else did I know? Oh, they're actually making a movie for this book. I don't know if y'all know that. But they're actually making a movie for the book. And I'm that weird person that I expect for the characters, the way that they show the characters in the book, I want them to be the same exact way in the movie, and it's not happening. Like, I'm pissed the hell off. Regina Hall, which I love, is actually playing the mother, which I think the mother's name was her name Linda, I think? I'm not sure, don't hold me to that, but she's playing Star's mother. And the way that they portrayed Star's mother in the book was like this super yellow bone, light skinned chick with a lot of attitude, and she didn't play. And Regina Hall just doesn't give me that, you know. Correct me, I mean, not correct me, but give me your opinion. Big Mav, which is her father, he's supposed to be this tall, super dark skinned, bald head dude with tattoos. And they gave him his character, let me see, I'm sorry. The character, the man that's playing him is, God, I can't think of his name. But if you look it up, you'll see him. Because they have an Instagram account for the movie and everything. But he's not Big Mav. The brother, which is 7, has locks. In the film, he doesn't have locks. Unless they're going to give them to him later and I just don't see him in the pictures. He doesn't have locks. And I was like, that is so important. Like, why would y'all leave that? Even if we have variations in skin tones and stuff like that, I get that. But he had locks. Like, why would you take them away? You know, the only person that really held on to their true identity was the baby brother, which is Sakani, or however you say his name. Because even Star, on the cover, Star is clearly like, she my skin tone. In the movie, Star is yellow bone. She light bright. And I was like, I mean, you know, I get it, but it just doesn't, as a writer, I want to see what I saw when I read the book. So, yeah. But again, like I said, this was a really good book. Very relevant, full of emotion. And it was, you know, it was a good read. It flowed all the way through. I never had a dull moment where I felt like I could put this book down. I think I finished it in about a week. And it only took me that long because your girl had stuff to do. I was working. So I couldn't read like I would like to. But I finished it actually in less than a week. I think about 5 days. So, yeah, it's a really good book. If you haven't checked it out, do so. And try to do so before the movie comes out. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say in these because, again, I haven't done my research on reviews. But maybe they'll get better over time. But yeah, share with me your thoughts on the book if you've read The Hate U Give. Oh, you know what I didn't say? The Hate U Give, it's an acronym for Thug, T-H-U-G, which if you are a hip hop fan, Tupac had Thug Life tattooed on him, and Thug is actually an acronym for the Hate U Give little emphasis everyone. I think that's how it goes. So of course the last part doesn't go into Thug, but it's like the Hate U Give. And then little if, and they cut that part off, obviously. But yeah, I thought that was cool. But again, that refers to her being like a 90s. She clearly grew up in the 90s era. So, or just loved the 90s. But yeah. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I don't know what else to say. But this is a book that I read. I'll be back with more reviews. If you want to share and talk about it, we can. Again, if you want to join a book club, you can. It's totally free. And yeah, y'all will see me in the next video. Bye.